Exactly.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Soccerex. We're here to talk about NFTs, a word we have maybe became familiar with in the recent years. It definitely piqued the attention of major soccer teams and leagues. And we will discuss in this session LaLiga's venture into this space and their partnership with Dapper Labs. So I'd like to introduce you to Patrick and Jorge in that order. Patrick is the head of partnerships of LaLiga in North America. LaLiga North America, a joint venture between Relevant Sports and LaLiga. Previously, he served as the global partnership sales manager in LaLiga's headquarters based in Madrid. He's a very lucky person. And then he was responsible for creating and executing an international sales strategy, business development, sourcing, and closing commercial partnerships from territories around the globe. And prior to joining LaLiga, he had a very interesting career, 5 years at a Generation Adidas International, and then other various positions around the world, including a post at United Nations Office for Sport Development and Peace, based in Geneva, business development manager at Soccerex, based in Vancouver. So you've been all around the world, spreading the sports and business, and you hold an MBA from Universidad Europea de Madrid, Real Madrid's business school. And Jorge Urrutia del Pozo is the vice president of football partnerships at Dapper Labs. He drives Dapper's growth in the space, in the sport, and has been critical to the success of Dapper's partnerships with LaLiga to launch their digital collectible experience. Jorge has 2 decades of experience leading growth strategies in sports media and technology. Prior to Dapper, he was head of fan engagement at the NBA, where he built a growth marketing team that achieved record increases in market fan base, fan engagement rate, and direct-to-consumer subscriptions. He also has an MBA from MIT and a master's in sports management from Columbia University. Go Lions. Here we are, and I think let's take this conversation with, I think the most important question is, let's do a quick overview of NFTs and the evolution in the sports world. Please, Jorge.
Got it. Thank you, Ashley, and good morning, everyone. I'm not going to give an overly technical definition of the blockchain, but I'm going to explain it with an analogy that I hope it helps. I think of the blockchain as an open book, and what happens is everything you read in that book is verifiably true. And on top of that, it's a smart book that can be programmed. So the book reacts to what's going on in the world and takes actions based on what's happening. And NFTs are just digital goods that live on the blockchain. They mean non-fungible tokens, that's what they stand for. And what's really important about NFTs is that they are unique. They cannot be substituted. With that in mind, the product that Dapper Labs brings to life is basically a modern version of a trading card. It's based on video, taking advantage of video technology to bring really great moments, exciting actions, sometimes live calls of actual plays to create that collectible. And then it gives fans the opportunity to, for the first time, own a part of the economy of the sport. These things can be traded in a marketplace. And finally, it gives fans the opportunity to have utility through those smart contracts. So if you own NFTs of a given club, we may reward you with signed merchandise from a given club or player that you love, or we may take you to a game. And so it's really an exciting new touch point between the fans and the clubs and players that they love.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what does that mean for fans? Like, what is it in terms of engagement from their half with the team? Like, what do they get from it?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, it's a form of expression. And so you can showcase your fandom for everyone to see. If I love, let's say, Joao Felix, I'm thinking of yesterday's game as well.
Which you do,
but,
yeah.
Which I do. If I love Joao Felix, I probably want to own Joao Felix NFTs. And I want to show them to my friends. And it's really cool if on top of that, over time, I actually get a chance to get an Atletico de Madrid jersey signed by Joao Felix, and engage in a number of other experiences like going to a game. And it's really a new way to express your fandom and to interact with the clubs and players that you love.
And I guess, Patrick, maybe you can jump in and say, like, what is in it for the leagues as
Sure.
LaLiga's project is a joint partnership?
Yeah, well, I think Jorge did a really good job kind of setting the boundaries and the groundwork for what is an NFT. For us as a league, I mean, I would say that we don't want to, I wouldn't want to venture too far into that. That's his world and his expertise. For us, when we look at partnerships, we always look at kind of 3 or 4 different boxes that we look to check when we make these partnerships. One is always, and Jorge mentioned it, is fan engagement. So we want to be where our fans are, bring new and engaging products and goods, whether digital or physical, to our fans. So that's one box, checking the fan engagement. Data capture is always great, just getting a more personalized experience for our fans of our clubs and our players. Intellectual property, so leveraging La Liga IP out there on the blockchain is actually probably easier for us to monitor and control. There are plenty of, we have a whole anti-piracy department in La Liga HQ, and I would say, what we're going to be doing with Dapper is more, it's easier for us to trace. So that's great. So that kind of checks 3 boxes, and then 4th is probably monetization of these digital products. So pre-Dapper and 5 years ago, this was a dormant revenue stream for us. It wasn't something where we were looking to, capitalize and earn revenues for our clubs, players, and leagues. So it's, it kind of checks those 4. So from a league perspective, if you can hit all 4 of those, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, because you're sitting on incredibly valuable IP from the past, like not only today and what going forward, it's also everything that happened in the past that people want to relive it and they want to have it. Who collects NFTs? Youth, or are there any age groups, any specific demographics? What are the different kinds of sports NFT collectors are interested in? Can you tell us a little more about the demographic of these special people?
Yeah, well, look, I hope one day everyone collects NFTs. Let me start with that. But right now, it's still a very new industry. This is very nascent. There's 25% of the people in the United States who are aware of what NFTs are. So statistically, 3 out of 4 people in this room actually don't know what NFTs are. Yeah, right? And hopefully by the end of the session, I'll fix that. And 7% of the US population have purchased an NFT, just one, right? So it's very, very early. There's really 3 motivations that have led people to buy NFTs. And here I'm talking about any kind of NFT, not just sports. This is generic. One is investing or collecting. You buy something because you think that is going to have a higher value at some time in the future. Another motivation is early technology adopters, people who like the blockchain, like this new technology, and want to participate on it. And a third motivation is really sports fans, which is what we go after. So every product that we build is based on sports IP. We have partners like the NBA, like La Liga, and the collectible itself is a great video of a play. So you have to sort of be a sports fan to like it. The UX and the UI of all of our products are built around sports fandom. You sign in and you declare your favorite team. And you can then go and look for the NFTs of your favorite teams and players, et cetera. And the utility that you get as a collector is also related to sports. If you have an amazing collection, we have something called collector score. You have a higher collector score, you have a higher chance of going to a game, getting a jersey, getting one of these rewards. And that's definitely most attractive for sports fans. So that's who we're targeting here. And if you think about our mission as a technology company, which is to bring millions of people to the blockchain, there's no better on-ramp than sports. Mm-hmm. There's no better on-ramp than something that millions of people around the world love and are passionate about. And so that's why we're in sports, really.
And how do they influence each other? Because you mentioned people can have like a series of NFTs or collections of such NFTs. In your platform, I'm assuming they can compare and show off or trade. How is that going to work out for a fan with NFTs?
So let me give you a little bit of an overview of the product itself and its components, and then let's talk about different dynamics within the platform. So there's a primary market, and this is no different than buying a pack of cards when you were a kid. You're gonna buy a pack. You don't know what you're gonna get in the pack. Mm-hmm. We typically try to provide value. We are expected value positive, which means that you're likely to pay less for the pack than the value of the cards or the NFTs that you're getting, right? So you buy that, and then you see what you get. And in my case, if it's João Felix, I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna sell it, right? If I get other players, I may consider selling them, and I go to the marketplace, and I can look at similar NFTs, NFTs of different moments from the same player or the same team, and I can list them. And I can start building my collection, right? I can showcase my collection. I can show it to other people. In the case of the NBA product that we have, for example, a lot of players buy their own plays, and that's what they show, because they like to show their best moments. So you have all of those dynamics. And then there's a lot of community dynamics around really what's happening in the league at the moment. So, we have El Clásico coming, right? What about if you collect 10 past El Clásico moments? Maybe you get sent to El Clásico. Those kinds of dynamics exist. We call them challenges. And at any point in time in our platform, there's multiple challenges going on of different difficulty for different types of collectors. If you just started with the product, you're going to get something easier than if you have already a pretty large collection. So that's basically how the product works. It's a highly engaging experience. Some people spend a lot of time. What I would say, there's an entire ecosystem around this space where there are tools that people use to understand the value of their collections, just like collecting in general. And it's basically a new and interesting way of, again, expressing your fandom and also potentially getting a reward.
Patrick, what is the strategy you guys have around this category? And how did you manage all the partners that are involved in the project? How did you get everyone together and create it?
It's been a long road. I mean, I think we actually met with Katie and Jorge's team in Dapper in Madrid probably 3 years ago, so pre-pandemic, a while back. And I remember when we were sitting there, we were thinking, cats, CryptoKitties, blockchain, and for a traditional league, I mean, I think we're very innovative and we're pushing forward and pushing boundaries in terms of a sports league. But even for us, we were sitting there 3 years ago thinking, cats and blockchain? Do we have to be in this space? And very quickly we realized we had to be in the space. And so, we like to see I would say this space as an ecosystem where there could be several verticals. I mean, Jorge described it as a digital product or good. And that could be a moment. I was at Super Bowl, and as soon as I left Super Bowl, I had my ticket as an NFT come to me. So that might be my first kind of gateway to it. So I think there's a lot of verticals of how we could engage with our fans inside this ecosystem. So I would say we were excited to partner with Dapper, who are the leaders in the space and really in somewhat of a space in its infancy. They already have a proven track record. So for us, it was trying not to limit ourselves in our strategy to just saying we're going to do one big digital product and stop. I mean, we wanted to be where our fans are, where our fans consume La Liga products. And so, we see it as an ecosystem. We see it as potentially a limitless amount of verticals. What that will be, I mean, I think we're very happy that we have now, but it's trying to be active in the space and seeing our fans and being with our fans where they want to be, consuming our products.
Why soccer? Why such a premium, I think, global property like La Liga? Was it, close to your, heart? Can you, aside from your fandom with Atletico Madrid. What else was your motivation?
Of course. I said before that our mission is to bring millions of people to the blockchain. And just to give you a little story about our company, Patrick just mentioned something called CryptoKitties. I don't know how many people in the room heard of it or know it, but it was basically the first NFT, and they were cats. And when we built CryptoKitties, which was a success, an early success in the blockchain, we realized that for the average person to participate in the blockchain to buy an NFT, it was extremely hard. It was an extremely painful user experience. 2% of the people who clicked on "I want this cat" eventually got the cat, right? And this is because you need to have cryptocurrency, and you need to have a wallet, and that takes expertise and time. And so what we set out to do was to build a blockchain that, that's really easy to use, that takes credit cards, and that takes care of all of that complicated technology jargon that makes it a difficult experience. And it's just as simple as like signing up for Netflix, right? And the best IP that you can use to then bring those millions of people to this technology, once you've built that technology, is something that reaches millions of people in the world and something that those people care about. In the case of LaLiga, it's almost 1 billion fans. Only 110, I believe, of those billion fans are in Europe, so they have global reach, big fandom in Asia, in South America, here in North America, in the Middle East. So it's going to bring a lot of new demographics to our product. And it is just a very strong fandom. La Liga is #2 by social media followers of any league in the world. And just to give you an example, Real Madrid and Barcelona are global brands. They have 250 million social media followers. The Lakers have 50. The Dallas Cowboys have 15. And so it gives you an idea of the scale of this property and what the potential here is. The other thing I would say is what you need in this industry is a partner that's willing to experiment, that's willing to take risks. And we were talking about how they started studying this space 3 years ago. And they were probably the first soccer league to do a deal in this space. And so that commitment to innovation and experimentation is definitely there, and it makes it a very attractive partnership for us.
I mean, there's no doubt Dapper Labs' expertise in the space is already proven with NBA Top Shots, but what do you think Dapper Labs is going to bring to La Liga in that perspective?
La Liga, I think, Jorge mentioned it, we see ourselves very much as a global property. I think there's a lot that we can do in-house. We truly believe that we are pushing the boundaries when it comes to innovation. We went from 30 to 700 employees over the last 5 years. We're creating new departments. Our audiovisual product, I would say, is the best out there for a soccer property. And we have great partnerships in building all those departments and those products. I think for us to sit there and say we're going to build our own in-house NFT, I think that's a stretch. I think for us, it makes sense to partner with the best in the space, and Jorge and Dapper and the team there are that. They are the benchmark, and for us, I think it's kind of self-explanatory why we wanted to partner with Dapper Labs, and I think it just allows us to walk the walk in that space, and it gives instant credibility. And I think it also goes back to one of the first bullets I mentioned, which is fan engagement. You guys already have a massive kind of user base and people who we know are NFT collectors, moments, and I think there could be plenty of synergies and integration between our fan base, their fan base, and people who just want to engage with our product in a new way. So I think you don't have to look much further than Dapper to think of a partner in the space, and so it's somewhat self-explanatory why Dapper.
And what should fans expect? I know you might not be able to give a lot of details, but the launch is in June, and what would a fan, La Liga fan, should expect around that time when you guys are launching the first product?
Right, so we really try to think very hard about the fan and the La Liga fan specifically in this case and build something that's custom. So we don't really replicate products, even if they've been successful across leagues. And in this case, when you think of La Liga, just as a fan, I can tell you it's at a really interesting point in time where you're coming off these past 20 years with arguably the two best players ever and a lot of success and a number of other players before. And you have a lot of really young talent as well. So João Felix, but also Vini Jr. and Ansu Fati and Gavi and a lot of young Barcelona players as well and other teams, right? And so one thing we want to do is to be able to tell this story and to connect the past and the present of the sport. And one of the interesting things about our deal is that we can do that because we have archives since 2005 and 2006. So you're going to be able to collect moments from, at that time Zidane was playing for Real Madrid, Roberto Carlos was playing for Real Madrid, Beckham, Kun Agüero when he came from Argentina, from Independiente and played for Atletico, Forlan, and so on and so forth. Van Nistelrooy, I could probably give names for the rest of the panel, but being able to offer that to fans and being able to tell a story and tying that history to the present and the future is something that we're really working on and that you can expect to see in this product. The other thing I would say is there's something about this sport that makes it different from other sports. If you go to a game, what happens in the stands matters. The celebrations of a goal matter, and there's a culture around all of these very special moments, and we want to bring that to life. We want to make sure that the product captures, the essence of the passion of La Liga. And so when you think about that from a production standpoint, camera angles, the treatment that you give to the video, we're paying a lot of attention to be able to convey that emotion. We think that's really important for the collector.
I mean, as someone who worked, reporting in that field, in the pitch, with images of players, I'm sure you're using technology that, maybe we're not very familiar with, but as the technology evolved, you have better scenes closer to date than the past. I'm sure there's like a difference and people probably will appreciate the beauty of the old and then maybe the crisp image of the new all at the same time. And maybe you can also, as a follow-up, tell us what are the learnings you're bringing with you to this project from your experience with NBA, which I think a lot of us, familiar here as well, because it was a very successful launch, and then the products are, speak for themselves. People are making money, collecting, selling. So what are those experiences or learnings you're bringing to La Liga's project?
I think there's really two lessons that we want to bring from other partnerships that we've had. One is the importance of listening to the fan and listening to the community. So these are communities that are alive. There's a platform called Discord, and we have people 24/7 communicating with collectors and asking or answering all kinds of questions, dealing with issues. And it truly is something you can witness if you're in that community, a very vibrant, dynamic community. And a lot of what we've done has been to basically listen to those fans, and they've given up ideas. We think as collectors we'd like to see this. We'd like to see this moment. There's a hashtag on Twitter called NBA Top Shot This. And when people see a play that they love, they use that hashtag, and then we go and we try to mint those plays. So that's one example, right? So we plan on doing the exact same thing. This is a very new technology. It's a very new space. We plan on listening to the fans very, very, very actively to be able to build the product that they want. And that's one learning. The other learning is just something I alluded to earlier, which is this idea of working very closely with the partner for experimentation and to try new things, try new ideas, new ways of doing drops, new tools in the marketplace, new statistics to display in the moments. Patrick was saying how La Liga has great broadcast technology, and I agree. When I'm watching games, I love how now I can see, probability of a given shot, making a goal or not. And sometimes I'm surprised. I'm looking at it and I'm like, this shot only had a 10% probability of becoming a goal, etc. How do you bring that to the product? How do you bring that to the moment? Think about a moment from the past, an incredible goal. Well, it'd be great for me to know that the expected probability of that particular goal was very, very low, and it actually gives more value to that given moment. So having that mindset of constantly evolving the product and having a partner that's willing to do that is very important for us as well.
Can't keep Jorge out of our office. He's in our office a couple times a week.
What is next for you in LaLiga? I think this is a first step towards the strategy of bringing new revenue streams, but what is after the launch of the first round of NFTs?
Yeah, I think it still goes back to some of the bullets I mentioned at the start where it comes to fan engagement. I think traditionally you would look at fans and they would show their fandom via a jersey, a tattoo, a ticket stub, whatever that may be. I think the digital identity of our fans is going to be a real thing coming forward in the future. I think I'm married, so I don't go on dating apps, but perhaps on a dating app you'll be able to list your NFTs or whatever that may be, and I think that could pretty quickly show you Ashley loves Real Madrid,
yeah.
Jorge loves Atletico. They both have NFTs, they list their wallets, they're maybe not a match. So I think where it's going to go is...
Swipe, I don't know if it's right or left.
Barcelona fan, no. Real Madrid.
So I think though, with the kind of increased digital identity and people, collecting NFTs that are really going to show who they are from a digital sense, I think you'll see more of that for our fans. I think what's next in the NFT space, we have our heads down right now, working hard for June and working with Dapper. So I don't think you should expect another big announcement today, but it's an exciting space, and I think it's I mentioned earlier, it's limitless, and I think that digital self will be a real thing for us and our fans. So
I'm going to ask you one more question, but then we're going to leave 3 minutes for questions. We have more questions for you, but let's give it a chance. But my last question is, what NFTs you're going to buy as soon as LaLiga NFTs are launched in June?
I'm going to buy a moment that occurred on May 17th, 2014 at Camp Nou, where Gavi, the captain of Atletico de Madrid, took a corner kick and Godin headed to goal, and Atletico won the title after 26 years. And it's a very dear moment to my heart, and I'll buy that and never sell it.
I have two. So one would be, I truly believe I'm probably a good La Liga employee because I am very neutral. I support Olympique Lyon. So if you could marry Lyon with La Liga and you have a Nabil Fekir or a Benzema NFT, I'd probably go for that. Or I would probably, and I did this just for you today, you didn't see it, but I would probably try to get whatever Atletico moments I could before Jorge, get those, and then he's going to have to actually buy those moments off of me. That's what I'm going to do. So steal Atletico moments and La Liga Lyon.
Okay, I know what I'm betting on. I'm definitely trying to get my hands on these amazing NFTs. Any questions from the audience for our guests? Please. I think you have a microphone coming.
Good morning. It's Luigi from Football Business Academy. I was just wondering how you plan to work on the education side of NFTs, because I believe it's one of the most important things to do for something that's new for the majority of the people.
Yep.
And as well, if you're going to set up a Discord, Twitter accounts, how you plan to build the community on these two platforms. Thank you.
I think I'll take that and feel free to add. So education is really important, and I think we need more education, and we need to simplify this world significantly. Part of that starts with the product. And so I mentioned that it's as easy as subscribe to Netflix in our case. I think that will take care of a lot of that difficulty understanding the space. But on top of that, I think you have to really explain it to people in a way that relates to their fandom. And so we're lucky that all of these moments are moments that people feel passionate about, so there's not a lot to understand about a great goal. We all recognize that when we see that. But how are you going to reach those fans? You can use players, you can use legends, you can use, if you're thinking of younger demographics, FIFA streamers. There's a number of vehicles and really talent that can help you tell that story. And we plan on using that. And then just like any of our other products, we'll have a Discord, we'll have social media accounts, and we'll be present. And we'll be listening to the community and showing that we act on that feedback. And one step at a time. I think 2 years ago, no one would have thought that there would be, there's over 4 million people in our blockchain right now, individual users registered. And hopefully that number will continue growing with more education.
I don't think I have much to add. I think you hit it. I would say it's partnering with Dapper. I mean, you guys make it seamless. It's a seamless transaction. So I think of my wife, who doesn't have Twitter, Instagram, or anything. I don't think we have each other on Facebook, but she would be able to go in to Dapper's website and be able to say, this is how it works. So I think you make it incredibly easy, and it's very encouraging for the regular fan to be able to acquire NFTs and to engage in the space.
One more question?
Yeah.
We have very little time, please.
Hi, Xavier Perrin from Extreme PR. My question is, how it is benefiting the clubs and the players and communities? And to follow up on that, what do you say to people criticizing this to take advantage of the fans and profiting and making a profit on the fans?
I think on our side, for La Liga, I mean, first and foremost, we work with and for the clubs and the players. I mean, that's very key to what we do. So I would say almost all of our clubs have been engaged in our partnership with Dapper Labs as well. So there's conversations at the club level, not just league level. So we make sure that we are, I would say, hearing their objectives from a club level and making sure they're integrated into everything we do in terms of product creation, then distribution. And then from the fan side, I think Jorge can probably hit it, but I would say you have those big clubs who probably don't need as much help in terms of, maybe a Real or Barca NFT will get bought up in Canada or US, whatever it is. I think some of the other clubs, you'll have a huge fan base in Spain, so I think you'll probably see kind of fans looking to acquire those and supporting the club NFTs across the board. But
yeah, I'll be very brief. I think two things. One is the beauty of the blockchain is that every transaction is tracked and there's value from that transaction that goes back to the right holder. So this is great for clubs in ways that traditional collecting has not been. Because if I exchange cards in the secondary market with someone else, the rights holder is not necessarily seeing value from that. The other thing I'd say is we're accessible. We have a very accessible product from a pricing perspective. 100 people working in customer service, KYC, know your customer, fraud detection teams. And so we're really on top of making this a safe product and making this a great experience for fans.
Well, I guess we have to maybe a few more questions if we have time. Please. You want to ask your questions? Yes. One more question. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a question. You mentioned that you've made it very simple for the investor, eliminating the need to set up a crypto wallet, etc. But at what cost to the consumer? And how would it make it economic from being able to get return on your money?
Let me see if I understood the question properly. I think that the entry point in our product is very accessible, and we pride ourselves in being accessible. So you can buy a pack, in the case of the NBA, for $9. There's 17 million moments in that community right now, and about 11 million of 17 million are priced under $10. And so there really isn't a high entry barrier for fans. It's very accessible. In terms of making a return on it, I think that's where that spirit of betting on the players that you love, and sometimes collecting rookie cards, etc., comes in, and it's up to the fan to decide what the value of this NFT is for herself. You may want to own something because you love it. You may want to own something because you think that's going to appreciate in value. And then it's up to you to decide how or why you believe it's going to appreciate in value. Like, if Joao Felix wins the Ballon d'Or 3 years from now, maybe his NFTs will appreciate and it will be a good investment, and if not, maybe not as much. But that's part of what you as a fan need to decide.
I guess we have to wrap this session. We gotta go. Thank you very much for listening to these amazing men. And hope you get some NFTs when LaLiga launches in June.
Thank you.